All right, buenos tardes. Good afternoon. I am back again. I made a video earlier, but I had to run because breakfast was ready, and now my lunch has been prepared. Have a few interruptions because I had uh, my cleaner and cook here, uh, who is the same person, someone who cleans and cooks for me whenever I choose not to cook. But anyways, I want to continue this about this whole birthday. My pre-birthday is today, and so tomorrow is my birthday. The earth will be rumbling and shaking because I was born on the 6th of January, and I'm excited to be alive. I am so happy. I have come so far. I've learned so much. I have gathered some things in life, some things I won't ever do again, and some things I would repeat. But I do like the signs of growth. You have to measure your life, not against anybody else's life. Just measure your life. I measured my life from where I once was, and God knows I'm not where I used to be. I'm not what I used to be. I am continuously. I am continually. I am continuously growing. I am growing continuously. Excuse me. And as you can tell, I'm on the outside, so you may hear cars and things of that sort. But I'm home here in Colombia. I haven't been here in a while. I've been running out and about. But I want to say I'm so grateful and thankful for life and that I am still here clothed in my right mind, have the activities and the use of my limbs, and I am going to celebrate life. I know people wait until folks transition over to celebrate their life, but I think uh, it's a good thing to celebrate your life while you're alive, and people celebrate you while you are alive. Now, I've been through a lot of things. Um, I've had some traumas. I think two things that happened to me in life has built me up for such a time as this. One, the traumatic experiences that I've had when I was a youngin'. Some things that I probably should not have experienced, but it was imposed upon me. 1 second. I think she's having a problem with my stove. Hold on. Too much, amiga? Okay. Um, so, two things that built me up for such a time as this, right? And that is, some of you know, you read and heard about my traumatic experience at a young age in the church, right? That's where it all went down in a system that I was loyal to as a child, but did not was not loyal to me when the heinous acts was committed against me. So that system did not protect me, right? And so being a part of that system or being in a system that I thought would protect me at all costs, it didn't. Um, with the experiences that I've had while in this system at such a young age, it built something up in me, right? So I held back a lot. Uh, I suppressed a lot of things. Also, the system itself taught you to suppress your voice when it's time to speak up and speak out. And I still see that today. The system don't like for you to speak up and speak out, which is one of the reasons I like this whole thing with Cat Williams speaking out and setting the record straight and being so vocal about his life experiences and about the script that others have tried to write about him, or they wanted to change the narrative of his story, right? Sometimes you can hear a lie for so long it sounds like it's true because you've not measured it against anything. All you've ever heard was a lie, 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 lie. And so when the truth does come, the truth sounds like a lie because the lie was never measured up against the truth when the lie was being told or lies being told. I remember coming up in this religious system, I just couldn't understand how is it that you can see someone going through some tumultuous situations, but not try to help them. And seemingly, they put their foot on your neck to keep you down. They don't offer any help. It's criticism, 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 and there wasn't any conversations to be had to try to understand what it is or what it was that you were experiencing or going through in life, so that maybe they could help. But that didn't happen, even when I was younger. So it built up this resistance inside of me, right? To carry the weight, like our good sister Harriet Tubman were able to carry a weight, or a burden was on her shoulders, and you didn't even realize how heavy the burden was, or the difficulties that she was experiencing carrying that weight. People have said a lot of things about her and her physicalities, but she was strong enough to carry the weight of that time. So when you're carrying the weight of, and the inward parts of you are suffering and is at war within you, and you're not understanding why the system that you are a part of doesn't protect you, and you've given loyalty to that system because you thought it was right, for the most part. So building a resistance inside of you, right? So a lot of things that should have taken place didn't take place, like conversations, offering some type of assistance or help, or some type of therapy, speaking to a professional that can help you through the process. And back then, seeing a therapist, even now in these days, it throws such a dark shadow over you. If you say you are seeing a therapist, some would say a shrink, a psychiatrist, or a therapist. And so back then they didn't offer that type of help, and we thought it was just, let's pray about it and leave it alone, don't talk about it, hoping that not talking about it would make it go away. But not talking about it does nothing positive for you or me. You have to get it out. It is a relief. It is therapeutic to talk about it. Sometimes when you're talking about it, or you begin to talk about it, it brings up so many emotions. It could be anger, frustration, sadness, depression. When you start talking about what you should have been vocal about in that day, and hoping that someone would protect you after hearing you, and hearing your struggles, and hearing your traumas. I had hopes that somebody would help me, right? And so it didn't happen. They felt like if you don't talk about it, it'll go away. But do you know that it never went away? And I hid this, and I suppressed it, and I covered it, and I bared the burden of it, and carried the pain of it, and nobody saw the warfare, or the battle, or the mental struggles, right? They didn't see that. But all this time is building up resistance and tenacity, and shows you how to go through. I should not have gone through. I don't think I should have gone through what I went through without being able to talk about it. But the culture said, don't talk about it. And we'll pretend it didn't happen. And so that built me up on the inside. But when I began to talk about it and became expressive, you all saw a lot of emotions, right? Sadness, some comical parts of it, like I might have been comedic during that time, in that time. A lot of that was probably deflection as well, could be categorized as deflection or deflecting. But I'm gonna tell you, once I start talking about it, it gave me another strength. It did something else inside of me. So all these years, 30 plus years that I've been holding this and carrying this until I got tired. I was about to burst and explode, and I just got tired and I wanted to talk about it. I needed somebody to hear my story. And then those that heard it, some tried to rewrite it, to cover up for. And that's all fine and good, but being able to talk about it was super amazing for me. It was such a relief. I was able to breathe. I was able to somehow find my way and get my head above the waters. I was no longer drowning. And when my conversation came about, I was no longer drowning, and I knew I had to express the truth. I knew I had to tell exactly how I felt. I knew I had to detail what took place, right? So that built up a tenacity in me. And then the relief of it, the suppressing it built a tenacity in me. It built some type of strength in me. And then being able to vocalize it and verbalize it built another strength because I was strong enough to talk about it. See, I was strong enough to hold it in, but I wasn't strong enough to talk about it. I don't know if you can equate that to strength or just embarrassment, and thinking I'm doing the right thing. But when I vocalized and verbalized my traumas or my experiences, it gave me another strength. It gave me another type of boldness. Because I remember I wouldn't call names. Now I call names, right? And so that gave me another strength. That built something else up in me. And then another time, another experience and traumatic experience that I had is watching my mother transition over, seeing the declination of her health, seeing a woman that was once so strong, raised 8 children alone, now is in her weakest stage, weakest moments, seeing her health declining, bone cancer, never smoked, but was around it. It's a little sticky for me sometimes, and emotional for me at times. I can dialogue about it, I can talk about it with others. Part of the reason I didn't share my story prior to her death was I thought I was protecting her. I didn't want her holding any anger in her heart. Because mothers, let me tell you, a real mother, a good mother, will protect you at all times. And she thought, she didn't know that the church was abusing me. And we were taught what goes on, not to say anything, which is, I did what I thought I should have done. But also I knew if she knew about it, it would have ended differently, right? And I'm strong enough to talk about it, old enough to talk about it, but I did it to some type of protecting her. Didn't want her to feel bad about it. She trusted me. She trusted her child to the church, and the church mishandled me. That system mishandled me. And then after that system couldn't get what they wanted out of me, then that system tried to annihilate me. Yeah, that's how people do. When they've used you up, then they try and destroy you. I'm talking about the system, right? So that was another thing, that watching the declining of her health, and then her transition, it built up something else in me. What else could happen that could be worse than that? You know, all the trauma, and then no longer having my mother, my best friend, the person that has always loved me, and the person that I've always loved, now is no longer here. This month will be 7 years. So all of that built something. And even in her transitioning and things was happening while she was transitioning, unfortunately she had to see some things happen um, while she was transitioning. She made several statements about it, within the about the family, and watching the turmoil even in that, and the bickering of family, and this one and that one fighting this and fighting that, fighting the process. See, I had to endure all of that. I had to endure. I had to endure because I needed to be there for her. And people don't know what I experienced, and I didn't realize how much I had experienced until after she was gone. And I could talk about a lot of detailed things I want on this video about the fights and the combativeness of people that grew up with you. So nothing else could be, I don't know of anything else that could happen to me, or anything that I could experience that would take me under. Like, I've been through some of the worst parts of life, the traumas of the religious system, and then my mother. And what, losing somebody else at this point, it wouldn't, oh, I wouldn't, and maybe one other person that would really faze me, right? But I've been through the worst of it. I think when you lose a great mother, what else could be worse? Like, I feel like I could stand against anything, and I could stand up to anything, and I could be more tenacious now and persistent, and to resistance, right? I've had a lot of resistance in my life and still have them, but I'm not moved by them because I was able to go through that. And this, the thing that's presenting itself now, is nothing compared to that. This giant that you see, it's not really a giant that I experience even in this day. I feel like I've experienced the largest giants in my life, and I've gone through so much turmoil mentally that nobody really knew about until I talked about it, and still do not know the magnitude of what I really had to experience. And that is what makes me who I am today. And that is why I'm not easily afraid. And that's why I don't back down. That's why I'm not silent about things anymore. I will talk about, when I look at Cat Williams' interview, it's like I know what that's like. Because you can just sit quiet for so long because people trying to make you out of the villain, and like you were so difficult. But at some point you have a breaking point. You have a breaking point that you have to tell it. You have to set the record straight. Don't let anybody change the narrative of your story or change the narrative of your life. Now, I get it.